It's no secret that I don't really like Pokemon at all. I avoid talking about it often because what is there to really say? It's the most bland and homogenous series that you can really get. I used to really enjoy it, but the more games that come out, the harder and harder it is to be fooled by the thinly veiled corporate greed behind it, especially because it's literally the biggest franchise in the entire world. Not even just in video games. This can really be indicated by the lack of experimental material in recent memory, too. In the 2000s, experimental Pokemon spin-offs were much more common than they are now. There was shit like Pokemon Troze. Over the course of the years, these spin-offs have decreased, mostly due to the cost of creating games going up, and thus spin-offs being a much more risky investment. It's a shame, because even though I don't really like the Pokemon spin-offs either, I still like them better than mainline Pokemon in a lot of ways. They have so much more heart put into them solely because they aren't the paint-by-numbers formulaic main games. There was one spin-off series that survived much longer than anyone expected it to, though. Enter Pokémon Mystery Dungeon, a series much more focused on characterization and plot than the others with a weird mechanic of procedurally generated mystery dungeons. It's interesting, especially with how it's part of a much larger series of weird procedurally generated dungeon games. It's probably my favorite facet of the Pokémon series, though I still don't think it's that great. Sure, the plots and characters themselves can be pretty grand, but the overall story of the games are hurt by the gameplay systems just being incredibly repetitive. Dungeons have no distinct identity of their own due to them being procedurally generated, so everything ends up feeling the same. Explorers of Sky, the enhanced re-release of Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness, adds an interesting extra game mode that sort of forgoes this issue though. It's a series of special episodes that add flavor to the world. Since there's only 1 or 2 dungeons, it's not as noticeable how repetitive it is. Some of them are a bit unnecessary. One just literally tells you what 2-bit characters were doing during the events of the story, while others are more substantial, like an epilogue for characters whose fates were left uncertain at the end of the game. One of them really stands out to me though, and that's the first one you get, Bidoof's Wish. For some background, Bidoof is a beaver-like Pokemon and it's pretty cute and lovable. In the Explorers games, Bidoof is the Pokemon who welcomes you to the guild where you accept what is essentially mercenary work. He was the newest member there before you arrived, and he takes a lot of pride in being able to mentor someone. One has to wonder how he got in. The lovable and cuddly guy doesn't seem like he could go on an adventure on his own. That's where Bidoof's Wish comes in. We get to see Bidoof's incredibly endearing origins in this story. Bidoof joined the guild in order to prove something to his family, which is also adorable by the way. While trying to join, he makes new friends with a Snover, and the two of them chase after Jirachi, who is said to be able to grant wishes. Along the way, they are attacked by a Gligar and a Bagon multiple times. There's sort of a recurring trend of bully characters throughout the Mystery Dungeon games, with the first ones featuring Team Meanies and the second ones featuring Team Skull. No, not that Team Skull, this Team Skull, so it makes sense there would be something similar here. Bidoof's Wish subverts this by making it so the Snover that you were working with was actually in cahoots with the bullies the entire time, trying to steal Jirachi's power for himself and also Bidoof's allowance that he got from his mom. Bidoof is adorable with his family in particular. He wants to make them proud very badly, and genuinely struggles not to buy a TM for himself when presented with a chance to because he doesn't want to waste his mom's money. Well, the TM is for hidden power anyway, so it probably would have been terrible, so good call there, Bidoof. The way he implicitly trusts Snover despite how shifty he is also quite cute. However, what he inevitably ends up wishing for from Jirachi after kicking Snover's teeth in is truly adorable as well. When presented with utter godlike power that could completely change the world around him, Bidoof doesn't wish for anything grandiose or particularly remarkable. Bidoof just wishes that new people would join Wigglytuff's guild for him to mentor. It's so simple and it perfectly fits with Bidoof's character. He just wants to be a mentor. So rarely do we see character archetypes like this in video games. Your protagonist isn't usually one who passes the torch on to another character, they usually are the one receiving the torch, with a notable exception being Dragon Quest V. But Bidoof choosing that path is adorably humble and a great character moment through and through. He just wants to help someone else out. Some might argue that Pokemon Channel or Hey You Pikachu are more adorable than Bidoof's Wish. I mean, you do get to take care of and raise a real Pikachu in those games. However, those games are so much more corporate. Pikachu himself is such a mascot character. He's not really a cute Pokemon anymore, is he? He's more so the face of an imposing multi-million-dollar franchise than anything else. Bidoof, on the other hand, is just a minor Pokemon. Sure, he's marketed sometimes because he's adorable, but compared to Pikachu, he is not such a monolith. And that's what I mean when I say Bidoof's Wish has an awful lot of heart. Bidoof's Wish is one of the most earnest little side stories I've ever played in any game, and I really could say that about a lot of the new side content in Explorers of Sky. Each special episode feels like the team really thought they were making something great. I mean, Bidoof as the main protagonist has to be something that the creator truly loved. That kind of confidence goes a long way, and really, it's not something I would ever expect from a series as homogenous as Pokemon. This has been Arcade Everlasting, wishing you all a happy Bidoof Day, signing off. Thank you for watching.